Hey there, welcome back to The Daily. It is me again on the meditation cushion, practicing with you today. And for today's practice, I want to circle us back to the same practice that we did at the very beginning of this month's theme, which is courage, and really looking at what it means to apply courage to our day-to-day lives right here, right now. If you have been practicing with me for any length of time, you probably know that I am a big fan of the integration piece of practice. That, of course, we sit down on the meditation cushion and we may or may not have a really kind of lovely experience just being with ourselves, resting in our own company. But there's also the piece of bringing practice off of the meditation cushion and really starting to infuse it into our day-to-day life. So I want to circle us back to this question, this inquiry, this contemplation of what it means to apply courage to our life right now. And of course, you are the only person who is going to have that answer, which is why it's a beautiful thing that we're creating some space today to just let that answer arise. So, wherever you happen to be, taking a moment to decide on our seat. And once we've landed, maybe just giving our bodies a quick once over, making sure that we feel really sturdy. That yes, indeed, this is where we want to be for the next 20 minutes together. And then taking a moment to decide on our gaze. So eyes open or eyes closed, your call. And of course, if we're practicing with the eyes open, it's letting the gaze be soft, hazy, unfocused, about 3 to 5 feet in front of us. And if we're practicing with eyes closed, keeping that sense of being alert and awake, aware of our surroundings. And we'll take a few moments as always just to open practice by opening our senses and really just arriving fully and shifting the attention over to sound. And receiving the sounds of the space that we're in. And taking in the tonal quality. And welcoming any noises that might be present. And staying open to the sounds of our space, turning the attention to touch. And so taking a few moments here to really position ourselves in our bodies, and feeling the shape that the body currently makes. And that light pressure where the body makes contact. And feeling the texture of clothing against our skin. And temperature of the air in the room. So just switching gears a bit, dropping into our direct experience, body and space. Bringing the attention to the feet. And just feeling the feet here. And space between the toes. And temperature, texture. A bit of interest in the details. Tracing the attention across the soles of the feet. Through the ankles, along the shin bones, circling the kneecaps, grazing through the thighs, and landing in the hips, feeling where the sit bones connect, plug in to the chair, to the cushion beneath us. And maybe even just dropping some of our body weight here. So really releasing our weight, and letting ourselves be fully supported, held up by this representation of earth beneath us. Moving the attention to the tailbone, sacrum, base of the spine, and almost as though climbing a ladder. It's walking our attention across the lower back, middle back, upper back, just a light extension at the crown of the head. Tracing the attention across the slope of the forehead, space between the eyebrows. Maybe just releasing any tension that may have collected here. Softening the space behind the eyes. Tracing the attention down the bridge of the nose into the jaw. Releasing any clenching that might be happening here. Just letting the face be soft. Dropping the attention into the belly, the chest. Just taking a moment or two here in the belly, the chest. Perhaps even giving ourselves a quick temperature check. Noticing if there's any residual mood or emotion that feels particularly alive here in this space in the body today. The belly, the chest. Just getting a sense of what we're working with today, what we're bringing into practice, if anything. It's all grist for the mill. Continuing to rest here in the front body. It's beginning to establish contact with the body breathing. Tip of the nose, back of the throat, belly. Feeling how the breath moves in the body today. Continuing to allow the attention to ride the cycle of breath as it moves through the body. And we'll continue into practice. Just taking a few minutes together, working with that singular instruction that as our minds wander, which they naturally will, we're just noticing when we've left our breathing, acknowledging what captures our attention, and then gently, firmly back to the breath in the body. So as we settle into practice together, perhaps finding that slow mental drift is occurring, maybe entirely hijacked by some preoccupation or concern, wherever and whatever the mind has landed on. Again, no big deal. That's what the mind does. Just giving a light touch of attention, a bit of acknowledgement, and coming back to the breath in the body. So that continual return, cycling back to the body, back to the breath, back to the moment at hand. Just allowing ourselves to rest here. And if you haven't already, maybe just letting the eyes gently shut and beginning to shift our practice into a contemplation. It's opening up with this question, this inquiry. What in my life right now could use a bit of courage? What in my life right now could use a bit of courage? Staying watchful of what arises here. What in my life could use a bit of courage right now? So in these moments that we're creating space for information or insight to arise, we might notice that our tendency is to launch into strategy, analysis, judgment. The mind is a problem-solving device. Of course, if this is the case, again, no big deal. We're just continuing to come back to the question itself and notice what arises in response. What in my life could use a bit of courage right now? What aspect of my life is asking me to take heart, be courageous? It's holding space for what arises. Again, what in my life could use a bit of courage right now? What aspect of my life might benefit from courageous action? So again, there's no right answer here per se. We're just touching in, getting an honest read, creating a bit of conversation, maybe the passage of information to ourselves, from ourselves. Just listening for what emerges. What in my life could use a bit of courage right now? Just continuing to harness our attention back to the question itself. And then whatever information was collected here, if anything, just allowing it to dissolve into the backdrop a bit, and recognizing that we can pick it up after practice. And just returning our attention back to the breath in the body. And we'll take just a few more moments to rest our attention here, and feeling the body breathe. And then in our final few moments of practice together, maybe just touching in on what it is that brought you to practice today. Why yes, that motivation, intention, doesn't have to be profound as long as it's honest. Closing out with a little bit of sweetness, maybe a bit of thanks, a hand on the heart. It's giving ourselves a little bit of credit for taking the time, making the space, and creating this dialogue to ourselves, from ourselves. And then as you're ready, just allowing formal practice to drop and coming back in together at your own pace, no rush. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a wonderful day, however long that day may be. I hope it is a wonderful one. And we will see you back here tomorrow.